Alright, folks, what's up? One Big Bugga here. Beard's still going. The old Amish look going on. Believe me, I put on a particular hat. I do look really Amish, especially. I don't rock the mustache. I haven't the longest time. Um, so this does not count, at least I hope it won't count towards my 3 gaming videos a week, or 3 days where I upload gaming videos. I said I wanted to do one vlog a week at least. And this is that vlog. Try and update you on things that have been going on. First thing that's been going on is I've been running around like a chicken with my head cut off. Like, no joke. Since the end of October, I have had doctor's appointments like crazy. And again, this has all been leading towards my health and losing weight. And I have noticed. The lightest I've been is 426 pounds. That's down from 435, as I believe I told you last, 435, 434. So I've broken into the 420s. But I'm struggling in the 420 range right now. And part of this is due right now to if my pattern gets thrown off, I have a hard time compensating. Like today, my pattern was thrown off, and I'll go into that a little bit more in a minute. But the benefits is I have noticed differences. Clothes that were tight are not so tight anymore. I just bought some sweatshirts from Walmart that are 3X, not 4X. They're a little snug, but not really that much. An old jacket that I have where I couldn't button the bottom buttons. A jacket that was given to me, it was a 5X jacket, didn't fit. Almost fits. I can almost zipper it. I think if I lose another 15, 20 pounds, I'll be able to wear it. You know? So there's a lot of possibilities there. But the problem I face is I'm a creature of habit. And once I get out of those habits, things start getting messed up. Now, I'm not saying once I get out of those habits, I can't get back into them. It's a day-to-day thing. And things that have happened have broken me out of those habits. One of my girlfriends, as you know, I have two. One of my girlfriends, one from Indiana, came to visit me this past couple weeks from November 10th to the 24th. And I all kinds of misbehaved. But even in misbehaving, I never went above 433 pounds. I never broke back beyond 435. So even in misbehaving, I didn't do bad. And I pushed myself back down into 426. So pretty good. But I could, I could be a lot lower. I could probably be 422, maybe even 420, maybe even the 14s by now. I don't know. It also doesn't help that I've had a lot of strenuous doctor's appointments and a lot of stress lately. I want to nudge that up just a little bit. There we go. Now I'm happy. I haven't cleaned up the mess from when my girlfriend visited yet. It's not really a mess, just the mattress is down and some things are on it now. But anyways, yeah, so I've been constantly on the go, on the go, on the go, on the go. And I try and compensate for it. I know when I'm going to misbehave. So when I know I'm going to misbehave, I try to not eat as much. It's not really a good thing, but it's the best I can do. And today's an example. Last night, I had to go back to the hospital and sleep overnight. I had a sleep apnea test. And yes, and I've known this for a while, I had sleep apnea. And it turned out to be moderate sleep apnea. So I had to go back for what they call the CPAP. The CPAP is where you go back and they put the mask on and they adjust levels to help, so that you can breathe normally while you sleep. And I had to go back for that. Now the thing is, is they have you go to sleep no later than 11, but then they wake you up about 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm sleeping on a bed that's not very comfortable, and it's definitely not my own home. I'm away from everything that I'm familiar with, especially the background noises that I usually have. Um, there's just a lot of things where I don't sleep very well. Plus, I got this I got this mask that's blowing air, drying my lips and everything over my face. So I'm gonna be grumpy. I come home, I can't sleep right away. I can't go back to sleep right away. So I stay up for about an hour. Then I try and lay down to go to sleep. I only sleep for about another hour before I wake up again, and I have to go to the bathroom. And then I got to take my mother to um, the senior center. And at that point, I'm not going back to sleep for the rest of the day. And I already know I'm going to be off. I'm not going to be feeling right. So what's going to end up happening is I'm just not going to feel like cooking. So I know I'm going to order out. The best thing I can do when I order out is Chinese food. Believe it or not, it's Chinese food. Because in Chinese food, you can order healthy if you're careful. I'm not particularly careful, but I'm more careful than I used to be. I got a list of actually Chinese foods that you can order that are okay. The thing is I usually order a little bit more than you should, and I kind of get a little bit more than, like, instead of getting just the beef and broccoli, I get the beef and broccoli dinner dinner plate special, which is beef and broccoli. And instead of the fried rice, which is really bad, I get the lo mein, which is just bad, and I get the chicken lo mein. Then I get chicken teriyaki on the side. And they gave us a free crab rangoon, which I shouldn't have eaten, but I did. But to make up for that, all I had to eat all day before that was a very small, I'm talking like this much leftover spaghetti and a bagel. Oh, and then I got a croissant sandwich from Dunkin' Donuts and coffee, because I had to drive to Rhode Island to drop off my car papers, because it was all mixed up with that. No need for me to go into that. But that's all settled. My car's all squared away. Kind of. I'm taking it in this Friday, I hope, to get an upper control arm fixed. And once the upper control arm's fixed, for now, all the major things that need to be fixed on it are fixed. It's just a rear reverse light harness. The whole harness needs to be pulled and replaced. It's like $215. And then the big repair that's left is the rear door harness, which is like $400, basically $500 for the rear door harness. Yeah. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that done or not. But it's not a huge deal. It's basically just the rear wiper doesn't work. There may be a few other things. Probably the rear lights, that's why they're not coming on. A few other things. I am not overly concerned about it right now. Getting the upper control arm done, then I want to get a tire rotation and balance done on it. Then I want to get that rear light harness done. Those are the three things I want to get done. Then eventually replace the hood on it. That's what I care about. But getting the upper control arm is the last major repair in terms of safety, like getting the brakes done and everything that I've been getting done one by one, and everything is the safety things that I've been getting done. So this is the last one coming up, I hope. But yeah, I've just gone through a myriad of doctor's appointments. I believe I've talked about my kidney stones a little bit, the problems I've been having. I think I forgot I didn't shave quite well there. Oh well. That's been there for a few days too, so haha. The fact that I've had kidney stones for a while. They gave me a CAT scan, couldn't find it. An ER doctor found them with an ultrasound, or a specialist, a urologist, couldn't find them with a CAT scan. Go figure. They sent me up for surgery down to Sturdy Memorial. Sturdy Memorial calls me up the day of the procedure and goes, hey, you know what? Sorry, we can't take you. You're too heavy for our tables. Oh, thank you for calling me now. So I call around, I get a specialist in Plymouth, an hour away, better than going to Boston. I set up with him. Go there to set up with him, get everything set up with him, go in, do all the pre-registration stuff. Just as I'm about to leave, the anesthesiologist doctor calls me back and goes, you know what, you haven't had sleep apnea test, you haven't been treated for it, You're not even really sure if the big kidney stone is still there, you believe you passed it, blah, 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 blah. And he forces Dr. Gillard's hand in making me get another CAT scan. So they cancel my procedure again. They send me for another CAT scan. Dr. Gillard calls me up. They give me another CAT scan, and even though the 13 millimeter stone is gone, I did actually somehow pass a 13 millimeter kidney stone without pain. Go figure. That should be impossible. There is a 7 millimeter stone still back there, and then there's another stone there, and there's a couple small ones on the left side, but they're only going to do the right. And hopefully after that I'll be medicated against these stones as they're going to analyze. I did manage to collect the large stone that I passed. They're going to analyze the stone and find out what it's comprised of, and then I'll be medicated against stones, hopefully. It is scary because they do put you to sleep. They don't, like, cut you open or anything. This is all done externally, but they do put you to sleep, and there's a chance that things could always go wrong, but I mean, it's less invasive than the weight loss surgery I'm trying to get, but still, it's scary. I just noticed this goes, nyeh, nyeh, and this goes, nyeh. Whatever. I'm weird. So yeah, I mean, just to give you an idea, I had doctor's appointments at least 2 to 3 times a week, all through October, leading up to my girlfriend's visit in November. Then I had her here through the entire 2 weeks of November. Took her back to Logan Airport, which was a complete wreck on my part. I forgot to submit my timesheet on Sunday. I didn't get it until Tuesday. So I didn't get paid until today, which is, but you know, if you don't see this by the time it goes up or goes up late, is Tuesday the 28th. And she went back on the 24th. So I really didn't have that much money. She had to pay for her own bag check-in, which I told her I was going to do. I wasn't able to go in with her to check in. I had to drop her off. Just nothing went to plan. But everything, fortunately, went smoothly. Even with that wreck. And her visit here was wonderful. She had a great time. I had a great time. And I'll go more into that in a little bit. And I did get to relax, but she was here, so I was also, you know, entertaining and keeping her happy. And, you know, I was kind of like up the whole time. I didn't really get to slow down too much. And then after she left, the doctor's appointments started again, and they're still going. I had my CPAP last night. I got an eye doctor's appointment coming Friday. My car goes in on Saturday. On the 7th, I go to Plymouth for my kidney procedure. On the 14th, on the 11th, I have an appointment. On the 14th, I have another appointment. On the 20th, I have another appointment. Oh, I just busy. It's driving me up the wall. Seriously, I can't take it anymore. No, I can. It's just driving me up the wall. And because if my pattern gets too broken, I start misbehaving on what I should eat. And I've been eating a little bit too much, um, which is why I should be being more careful. And I'm going to be going food shopping soon, so I'm going to clean out the fridge of leftover stuff that's not good, and restock it. We actually don't need a lot. Restock it with stuff that um, will help. Again, healthy stuff. And then hopefully I can stick back to the pattern. Um, like I said, today I had a little too much Chinese food. I expect to be probably 427 tomorrow. It could be as bad as 428. I don't think so, though. I don't think I'm going to go up 2 pounds. Um, with all the salt and all the sodium that can come in Chinese food, it's possible if I retain enough water, it could go up to 428. But I don't think so. This entire jug is 200. No, not even. This entire jug, 2.5 of these, so 4.5 gallons of this is 250 calories. So I can drink this all day, no problem. So yeah, doctor's appointment wise, I've been running around like a madman, and this is all leading into me getting my bariatric surgery done March, April of next year, hopefully. That's what I'm looking at. I'm surprised, honestly. I made it through my girlfriend's visit and Thanksgiving, and still I'm in the high 420s. I'm still losing. I'm still going down. It's it feels good, man. It really does. It feels good. So my girlfriend's visit, a couple things we did. One of the places I misbehaved was the movie theater. I love the showcase cinema here, man. The reclining chairs. Oh my god, I love the reclining chairs. The place is it's an awesome, awesome, awesome theater. Of course, expensive as fuck, but it's an awesome theater. Um, Went to see Thor Ragnarok. Well, it was towards the end of its 3D run. Like they still had 3D showings, but only had like one or two. I'm going to do some I'm going to do some big spoilers here. So if you don't want spoilers for the movies, just stop watching at this point. Spoilers for Thor and spoilers for Justice League. Just stop. Uh, Thor Ragnarok, good movie. Done poorly. I did enjoy it. I enjoyed watching it. I had fun. I would not go back to see it a second time. Um, they made Thor look like a bumbling idiot. Um, like he was a bit of a joke, which kind of goes along. It's kind of like they were going along the um, Avengers animated series, Mightiest Heroes. It's kind of like they were going along that, but not quite. Like they overdid it. Like Thor is just really stupid, naive. At one point, he takes this ball and he throws it against his window like he's going to break out, and it bounces back and he slams into his head and doesn't knock him out, but knocks him down. He looks like a fool. They totally decimated the Thor character in my book. They also a lot of people clamored for a Planet Hulk movie, and the creators, the directors, all this said there's no way there's going to be a Planet Hulk movie. So what they tried to do is shoehorn Planet Hulk into Thor Ragnarok, basically pulling a Batman v Superman, where they tried to cram too much into a single movie. First off, they brought in the Grandmaster, who had nothing to do with Planet Hulk. They turned Hulk's world, Shakar, I believe it was called, into a planet where everything that gets lost goes. Hulk was technically a prisoner, but he was a willing prisoner who was enjoying a high life as a champion, who the fans adored and loved, and because they adored and loved him, he was willing and happy to stay and be treated well, even though he was a prisoner. They basically just raped Planet Hulk. It was a great animated movie that they just raped into, and I hate to use that word, but I can't think of anything better. They just totally tore it apart, shoved it into Thor Ragnarok. The first thing they did is Hulk was a very angry monster, but with feelings, and basically he was in search of a home. He had just been kicked off of Earth. Nobody wanted him. And over time, he found a people who not only were willing to accept him, but would take him in as a king and see him as a symbol of hope and a hero, which is what he wanted. He fought on Earth all this time against all this evil as a hero, as a champion, and they kicked him off. And not only that, but he found somebody to love him, somebody that fell in love with him. And they turned him into a crybaby. They turned him into a crybaby. They turned him into a child. They literally turned him into a child. Now, I haven't read any comics in a while. Last I knew, Hela was the goddess of death. I don't know if she was Thor's sister, but she didn't pull her powers from Asgard. So the longer she was in Asgard, the stronger she got. She was not sealed away by Odin. She was the queen of her realm. She was the queen of death. She was like the, not Ares. Great, I can't think of the guy's name now. The Greek god of death, who you're probably shouting at the screen right now. I can't think of it. I really can't. It'll come to me later. She was the queen of her realm, the master of her realm, or the mistress of her realm. Nobody could beat her in her realm. She ruled over all. She dominated over all. She wanted nothing to do with Asgard. Why would she? She was the ruler of where she was. She was as powerful as Odin in her realm. It made now, from what I understand, from what I gathered, it does seem to kind of follow a comic that Asgard does get destroyed. I mean, they really mislead you in the trailer. But the whole Surtur destroying Asgard to destroy Hela, just everything about the end of the movie feels wrong. Thor discovering his power, but to what end? Basically, he grows up, takes the throne. Loki kind of grows up, we think. Um, Thor discovers he has his power, even though he lost his hammer. Yeah. Like I said, it was a good movie. I enjoyed watching it, but there was just so much wrong with it. It really took me out of the spirit so many times. I I wouldn't go back and watch it again, and it's not something I'd want to own. I'd watch a few clips here and there of some of my favorite parts, but that would be it. And one thing that really disappointed me was Hulk versus the Giant Wolf. Because I'm going to tell you now, that fight was an afterthought. You barely saw anything of it, and there really wasn't much to it. And I know what it plays on. It plays a little bit on an old story that I read a long time ago. That had to do with Hulk dying and actually seeing Hela in her realm and fighting for his life. Where he was killed by the offspring of the world worm, whose name there's no way I can pronounce. But basically, it's the worm that it's the worm or the dragon that encircles the world. That when Thor defeats it, or Thor kills it, it signals Ragnarok. Whatever. This was a long time back. It was the offspring of that dragon, and I think Loki, maybe someone else. It was a monstrous wolf. Basically, its body came up over the horizon, and it killed Hulk. But then at one point, Hulk it used his legs and his hands to break its jaw. And so that was kind of playing on that. But the fight was an afterthought. It really was. But, anyways. Good movie, but... Now, Justice League. Where does Justice League fall in the DC EU? I think it was... I don't know who handles Justice League, so I'm just going to say Marvel and DC. And I think it was DC's apology to the fans, saying, we know we screwed up, we're trying to fix things. It's not as good as Wonder Woman. I think Wonder Woman still stands out as the film for the DCEU. I don't think they tried to cram too much into a movie. I think they were forced to cut out too much. And the original runtime of the movie, I think, was over 2.5 hours, and they were forced to cut it down to 2 hours. The runtime is literally 1 hour and 59 minutes. They were forced to cut a lot of things out of it. And I think that extra 30 minutes or 40 or 50 minutes or however long it was supposed to run would have tied up a lot of the stuff that didn't fill in. So, yeah, that was a problem. But otherwise, The Flash was good. The Flash was definitely a great comedy point in the movie. I like how he played, I'm going to call it the Peter Parker spot. As we all know, in Homecoming, Peter Parker was a very unsure young kid, where the Flash was a little bit more confident. It wasn't that much. When the first big fight came, he was more scared and timid. There came a point in the movie where Batman tells him, just save one person, just one. Just save one person. When everything starts, just save one person, get one person out. And then Flash says, then what? And Batman says, you'll know. And it goes from there. And, he has to learn. He has to learn to fight. He has to, he doesn't have the confidence of Batman or Wonder Woman. You know, so I like that. Cyborg, and the guy who plays Cyborg killed it. I think he was great in the role. Um, you see a side of Cyborg that you don't get to see, I think, in any of the animated series or any of the movies or anything. And that's the side that was created, that has to come to terms with the fact that he's more machine than man. Although he wasn't created by he was created by a mother box rather than anything else, which is why he's able to tie into so much technology. And even in the movie, he's still learning what he can do. He's still learning his technology, which is, it lends credence to why he can do as much as he can do, why he can pull off the things that he does, because he's actually got the technology of the mother boxes built into him. So why he can interface with them, why later on he might, explain why he can control boom tubes, where he'll learn to do that, so he can travel around. I think he killed it. Batman, of course, was good in the movie, and you get to see Batman's age come into play at one point. Again, Wonder Woman was awesome. The opening scene in the movie was amazing. If you haven't seen it, I'm not going to spoil it. It was an amazing scene. I love the Amazons in it. Anyone who didn't, go screw yourself. I think it was just a wonderful scene that really actually kind of had you on edge for quite some time. Jason, I believe his name is Momoa. I should know, considering I lived in Hawaii, but I never actually caught his real name. I think he does a great Aquaman. I think he captures the spirit of Aquaman really well. He plays a nice line between the goofy Aquaman and the serious Aquaman. He hits a very nice in between, a good balance. And I actually am looking forward to seeing the Aquaman movie. If they can give it what I'm just going to call it the Wonder Woman treatment, I think it'd be really, really good. So that brings them down. So then we come back to Superman. Again, I believe that this was a wasted opportunity. Not only did they waste Doomsday, which could have been an entire another Superman movie altogether. Lex Luthor bringing back Doomsday to kill Superman. I could have seen that being done. It didn't have to be Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman versus Doomsday. It could have been a whole nother movie. It could have been the entire Justice League, because Doomsday took out the entire Justice League in the comic where he was introduced. It could have been just Superman versus, it could have been the first villain for Justice League to tackle. And they end up killing Superman. And that's what binds the Justice League and the world together. Fine, whatever. It's in the past, it's done. The resurrection of Superman, again, breaking away from the story, where you have multiple Supermen coming. We have Superboy as a clone. Again, how would you implement all this? You could have the cybernetic Superman or something of that nature. There was a lot of opportunities they could have done, but no, they want to tie in the big baddie of Darkseid by using Steppenwolf. And even though there's very little reference to Darkseid other than his name being mentioned once by Steppenwolf the entire movie, they're still doing the tie-in by using Steppenwolf. I believe they wasted the opportunity for Superman coming back. There's a lot of different ways they could have done it, but what they did is they had Cyborg. These huge spoilers, I'm sorry. They had Cyborg and Flash dig up Superman, and they took his body, which is perfectly preserved because his cells apparently won't degenerate, and they put him into the embryonic chamber of the Kryptonian ship, which apparently is still in the same spot Nobody's moved it and has the world's worst security. Um, and they used the mother box along with the flash to generate the electricity they needed to bring Superman back to life. And then Superman comes back to life. He's confused. He's fight or flight. He's in kind of a feral state. His mind isn't all there. And he ends up fighting the Justice League. Then they do the whole Hulk thing, where he's ready to really take one of the Justice League out. Pretty sure you know who. And Lois steps out of a car and calms down, takes her, flies her away. And then fast forward to the final fight. Justice League aren't doing too well, and then Big Boy in Blue shows up and makes Steppenwolf look like a bitch. Literally. He shows up behind Steppenwolf, says something, and then says, I'm a fan of Justice, and pop, nails Steppenwolf with a quick punch, knocks him the full length of the place they're in, just goes slamming into a wall. Then the funny part is the whole thing that he does with the Flash and rescuing civilians. Then after he rescues the civilians, Superman comes back, and Steppenwolf has been, finally knocked up by the Justice League up into like this big raft area. And Superman comes flying down, and goes, "Is this guy still bothering you?" And punches him down into the ground and lands on him and slams him down again, hits him with the heat vision, and just grabs him and casually tosses him up into the air. Basically, it was like, why was the Justice League even there at that point? Superman could have handled it all by himself, But basically, what they did, again, I think it was the apology of DC when it came to Superman, is they turned Superman into the good boy that everyone wanted, as a ha 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 kind of guy. Again, it was a good movie. It was too short. Hopefully, when they come out with the extended version, editors, cuts, edition, whatever, a lot of those plot holes and everything that they had to edit out will be in there, and it will explain a lot of what was out. I would go see it one time, not see it again. I know that I've just spoiled a whole lot of the movie if you watched all this, and I apologize. But again, if you watched all this, and I've told you a dozen times, there's going to be spoilers. Um, um, then you don't care. So, whatever. Either way, um, yeah, yeah. The long and short of it was there were two good movies. They were fun to see, but they're not something I go back to see. There are certain movies I've gone back to see multiple times. Like I went to see the original Guardians of the Galaxy 3 times. It was just that good. I went to see it by myself. I went to see it with a friend, and I went to see it with somebody else. I forget who. So yeah, there was that. Uh, what else is there? I forget. Or something. Oh no, sorry, it wasn't Guardians of the Galaxy. It was Steel. I went to see Man of Steel. I enjoyed Man of Steel. I did, but whatever. Is there anything else? I don't think so. Nothing in particular comes to mind. Just busy, 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 busy. A lot of doctor's appointments coming up. A little scary on the 7th, but my weight's still going down. Taking my medication, losing weight, trying to keep myself controlled. Proud of how I'm going, down to 426. High 426, but 426. One step at a time. And who knows? Maybe someday I'll serve as an inspiration for somebody else to lose weight. Because if I can do it, anyone can. I'll go into that maybe more one day. I can go into a little bit now. For the longest time in my life, I've always been overweight. But it was never too bad. You know, I remember hearing on a talk show one time, and I don't remember what talk show it was. Guys tend to get a lot more leniency when it comes to weight. Nowadays, women tend to get a little bit more leniency as well, but guys really got a lot of leniency when it comes to weight. He's 225, 250, 300, even 350 pounds. Yeah, he's a big guy. He's all right. Where do you draw the line? I slowly went up in weight for a long time until I hit around 305. Then I kind of stayed in the 305 range. I'd go up to 325, down to 305. Sometimes I'd drop as low as 265. Then I moved to Hawaii, and due to the dangers of rice and having a lot of rice and potatoes constantly, I ballooned up in less than a year to 400. And once I did that, it was too late. And that 400 pounds of becoming extremely inactive because of that, unlike I used to be. I went 400, 420, 440, 460, all the way up to 480, almost 490 at one point. I was bordering 500 pounds and only 5'7". I managed to push my weight back down, and I kept myself in the 460, 470 range. I was never happy. I was healthy enough. Blood pressure was okay, heart was okay, blood sugar was okay. But then I started having some blood sugar issues. I noticed that my blood pressure would be a little bit higher than normal as I got older. And then diabetes took my wife's life because she never managed it for more than a couple months at a time. I knew I had to get my life together. For a little while I did. Took myself from 472, 73 pounds down to 450 pounds. Not bad. Lost a little more than 25 pounds. It's not good enough. It took me a year to do that. And I moved here from Hawaii at 450 pounds. I had hopes to be down under 400. I barely lost 25 pounds. When I got here, I struggled. I struggled to maintain 450. I even went up as high as 460. And then I bounced up and down. I got myself down as low as 442, I think. And I bounced back up to 457. Back down to 450 again. Still keep myself in that 450 range. And then it finally happened. Bariatric surgery bloomed on the horizon. Doctor and a program. Finally, after I don't know how many years of trying and trying and trying, and sometimes begging for help, somebody finally opened the door and said, yeah, I'll help you. And even though you don't need to lose this weight, it would really help us and help me, help you if you could lose this weight. So I said, you know what? Okay. So with that doctor and that motivation in mind and the help of another doctor putting me on a diet and doing my best to stick to it, with that kind of motivation behind me, I've dropped in just a few months nearly 30 pounds. I think I've hit the plateau in terms of major weight loss. I'll probably be lucky to see 2 or 3 pounds a week now. But that doesn't matter as long as it keeps going down. But I'm doing it. After decades and decades of struggle, I'm doing it. And if I can, if somebody that's as addicted to food as I've been, that's is still as lazy as I am, as inactive as I am, can do this through controlling what I eat, then you can too. Anyone can. If you can motivate yourself better than I can, stick to it better than I can, maybe even get out there and exercise a little bit, a few times a week, who knows? You could do better than me. The trick isn't just sticking to your diet. The trick is sticking to your diet even after you screw up. Don't let yourself screwing up prevent you from going back to your diet. Don't let yourself screwing up prevent you from continuing to try. Don't let a screw up become a failure. Because the only time you truly fail is when you stop trying. I've screwed up a lot in this past, let's see, it's going to be 3 months. Come, I believe it's the 14th, December 14th. It's going to be 3 months. 3 months, December 14th. I've screwed up a lot, and I've still managed to drop 30 pounds. It's 10 pounds a month. That's pretty damn good. And you know what? If I can do it, you can do it. I'm not quitting. By my birthday next year, it's going to be a whole different me sitting here. My goal is to be 400 pounds, in the single digit 400 pounds, so like 409 or less, or under 400 pounds by the time my surgery hits. That's my goal. I can do it. I just need to not give up. Anyways, folks, I'm heading up to almost an hour worth of talking, so I'm gonna take off now. Hope you folks have been enjoying listening to me prattle on as much as I've been enjoying prattling on. I'll try and do some gameplay tomorrow, but until then, this is going to be One Big Bug. I'm going to be signing out. See you next time.